Okay, let's see. Looks like we're back, at least on in a different spot. I apologize to you. Little technical difficulty there. And let me get a new super chat. I gotta get my new pop out here. Give me a second. Well, that was not happy. I'm having Streamlabs has been crashing on me lately. So I got to figure that out. I might have to reload the entire thing, or I just had another update too. It should have been, we should have fixed it, but apparently it didn't. So I'm gonna give people a chance to come back. You should be still seeing me on Rumble. It looks like it started over correctly. Let's see here. That would be me. All right, good. So looks like we're getting people back. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Let's see. Go to live chat. Make sure to fix that. All right, hey D. You guys put it in number one. Looks like most of you are getting back here. So, all right. So I apologize. Like I said, Streamlabs OBS, which is what I use to do these streams, is kind of screwing up on me. So I apologize for that. Let me make sure that you can see what's going on the screens. Good. All right, we should be back. Sorry about that. All right, let's continue where we left off. We were talking about Aaron Bushnell, who self-immolated. Is that what it's called? I don't know if I said the word right. Also trending, Chaya Rychik is trending. Now, if you don't know who Chaya Rychik is, she is the procurer of Libs of TikTok. Oh, by the way, you might have to redo what is it? Let me check notifications here, because you might have to redo the stream. Oh, thank you for part 2. Thanks for dropping part 2 on the links there, Somnable Nation. I'm just going to retweet you guys. Let's see, repost and repost. There we go. That was unfortunate. All right, let's move on. Chaya Rychik is trending. She is the person who runs the Libs of TikTok website and Twitter accounts. And she's trending because apparently Taylor Lorenz decided to try and interview her for something. And it didn't really go that well. But let's do a 3-part on this with some video, because let's start the story with why this interview may have happened. So there was a teen in Oklahoma, a girl who claims to be non-binary, and she passed away. Now, people were saying that she was killed at school in a bathroom, and that she died from the fight, and that she was targeted because of her identity. Okay, and they blamed Libs of TikTok, because Libs of TikTok once did a post about that weirdo what's that guy's name, that he's the non-binary jagoff who tries to lure in kids. Apparently he got on some kind of book panel for this school, and so they're saying that okay, let me play this video for you. This is a short video of just how this went out. So here's Chaya Rychik talking about this. It's kind of weird because she looks a lot like Ronna McDaniel. I just noticed that today. Anyway, here's the story.
I woke up one day and all of a sudden there's headlines that I caused a murder.
Oklahoma banned trans student from bathrooms. Now a bullied student is dead.
Now, first of all, this is incorrect just from the start, from the Independent. Oklahoma bans trans student from bathrooms. Well, whoa, wait a minute. How did this? And the student was bullied and dead after a fight. Well, no. This is a girl who was in a girl's bathroom, and it wasn't even about that. I got to turn the music off, unfortunately, because you know how YouTube is. So anyway, and then she says this tragic story. There's a 16-year-old girl named Nex, and she got into a fight in school. And then the next day she passed away. The girl is identified as non-binary. So this is the headline. As a WASA student dies after school beating, critics blame negativity from libs of TikTok. They blame it on Chaya Raycheck for this. And so then it goes on, they're now blaming you, this is what this girl's saying, for the death of a child. And it's the mental gymnastics that went through it. So here, let's I'm going to move on from this because the rest is not necessarily about that. So then here's Taylor Renz decides to interview her about this event. And so this, Taylor Renz, my favorite my favorite journalist who still wears a mask outdoors. But anyway, here's how this goes with Taylor Renz. This is interesting.
And tons more on TikTok. It's all over TikTok.
Yeah.
Very easy to find.
Yeah. I'm curious,
listen to this line of question, because Taylor wants to ask her questions that put her in a corner, and she ain't, and Chaya's not having it.
I feel like there's been, especially on, my colleagues have done great reporting on sort of like this rift on Twitter. I know that you have a very conservative fan base, and in your comments sometimes you'll see a lot of commentary about sort of the great replacement theory. What are your thoughts on that?
Irrelevant.
What are your thoughts on the comments on your post telling me to kill myself?
Horrible. Yeah, horrible. Obviously against that. Yeah.
So will you come out and condemn that publicly?
Oh, I would condemn it any time. I'm against,
Have you ever done it, Taylor?
Murdering anyone, of course.
So you're against death threats against me?
I'm a big, as somebody that's dealt with a lot of online harassment, I don't defend threatening to murder anyone. But I guess I'm curious,
because a lot of times it comes after an attack in the media, like someone like you or another journalist.
So are you saying that, if somebody posts something and then attacks follow, that person should answer for those attacks?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Oh,
I'm saying that people like you tell me that all the time, so I'm just asking if you think the same thing.
Yeah, I don't think I have said that here, but...
Oh, no, she's absolutely said it. She blames libs of TikTok for anything that bad Sam. She claimed that libs of TikTok caused bomb threats, and then says that it's her fault. But then when Chaya gets death threats every time someone on the left writes about her, she has nothing to say. Now she says in person that's Chaya Raycheck. She's the woman who runs libs of TikTok. Slim Tito. So anyway, good morning, Cannibalistic Wizard too. All right. So
I think it's kind of interesting. I guess in the conservative movement, there's this ideology around white nationalism, which is obviously kind of a hardline ideology.
What does this have to do with libs of TikTok? She doesn't talk about any of that shit. Oh my God. Taylor's fishing just really wants to tie her to something that has nothing to do with her.
That's generally been pretty critical of Jewish communities. And I'm wondering, as a Jewish woman, how do you feel about sort of aligning yourself with those people and accounts?
What part is she aligning herself with? Hitler drank water. Am I aligning myself with Hitler every time I drink water? I think that we're taxed too high. And so does the Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan. Am I aligning myself with the Grand Wizard of Ku Klux Klan for having opinion that's similar? This is a stupid part of questioning.
See this sort of rhetoric in your replies, and I only bring it up. I'm not saying that you necessarily endorse that rhetoric. I would imagine that you don't. But how do you kind of think about those nuances when you're thinking about kind of the audience that you're building?
I know when Taylor writes her article or whatever she's doing with this interview, she's going to spin it in the most, just the most worst way that she possibly can. And that's because that's what she does. It's amazing.
Some of your audience says we should chop off kids' body parts. What do you think about that?
Okay, so anyway, that's kind of how the interview went. And the Renz is still wearing a mask outside that people are talking about. So anyway, here's more in this story too. And this is the thing. There is a video here. This is the girl who passed away. Now what happened? There was a fight in school, and the fight had nothing to do with anything related to bathrooms. These were girls in a girl's bathroom with a girl who claims to be non-binary. And the argument they were having was over getting caught vaping at the school. It had nothing to, the argument had nothing to do with identity. And the girl didn't die from injuries. The police made it clear she didn't die from any injuries. And they still have to try to determine the cause of death. So part of it here, let's see, where is this? Well, here, just you can see, you can listen to the beginning of this. Just you get the idea what the story's like, because this is her apparently in the doctors after the fight.
Hi. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Hello.
Hey, stranger.
Hey.
Oh,
Mr. Thompson.
And she wasn't injured.
Oh, stop.
They did go in to have her checked.
I found the other day.
Yes.
But listen to the beginning of this and
I'm
how this
glad
fight
you're
started.
here.
So what happened today?
I got jumped.
Tell me about it. What happened?
They've been antagonizing.
Now, again, also, that she says she got jumped. But then you find out later the story is that she threw some water at the girls, and so they basically retaliated, which is getting jumped, but it's not just getting jumped for out of the blue, or like getting jumped for a reason that they can't figure out. Because she tells the reason here.
You know the people that I got caught with?
You mean from the other day, the vaping situations?
Yeah.
Get the people I got caught with vaping.
Okay.
They were in the studio.
Okay.
Yeah. Where's my glasses? I can't see anything.
Sorry. Okay, what I was told, they called me. I'll just start here. They called me, and well, I know all week long she's been in ISP, right? Doing great.
Okay.
And everything. We had a long talk. I mean, we've been doing awesome. And she told me, she said, Mom, she said, these 3 girls there are just, they won't leave me alone. They're making comments. They're calling us names. They're throwing stuff at us. And this is an ISP. I'm like, well, who's over this place? I said, ignore it, Dabney. Get above it. You know, just.
Anyway, they got caught with something, and so now they're mad at her. They got caught, and it's a whole situation. You can watch the video. It's 20 minutes long, so I'm not gonna play this whole thing, obviously, but it had nothing to do with identity. But because they want to be able to blame shit on Libs of TikTok, they blamed the girl's death on Libs of TikTok, and it's kind of stupid. So anyway, that's why she's trending. Also, Rhonda McDaniel's trending. Now remember I said, it's interesting. I was showing the picture of Chaya here, and then you look at a picture of Rhonda McDaniel, which was also trending, and I was like, oh my gosh, they look very similar. Look at that's Rhonda McDaniel, and that's Chaya Raychek. And if you look too quick, you might think they're the same person. But anyway, apparently, breaking news. Rhonda McDaniel has announced that she will officially be stepping down as the head of the RNC on March 8th after the Super Tuesday elections. Donald Trump has suggested that North Carolina GOP Michael Whatley become the new chair. Many conservatives are calling for Vivek Ramaswamy or Scott Presler. Who do you want to see to lead the GOP? Well, definitely not the guy next to Miss Romney McDaniel. She's a Romney. That's right, though. There's a picture of Mitt Romney next to her. So Rhonda McDaniel is Jewish? No, she's not. No, she's not. I don't know. I don't think so. She's in the Romney family. She might be Mormon like the rest of the Romneys. Who knows? I don't know. But she is stepping down as the RNC chair, which some people will cheer and some people will go, oh, that's great. Notice that they're both having the same reactions. Anyway, so she has officially resigned. And she's been terrible. She has done terrible with fundraising. She's been terrible just in general. And so and I think people are beginning to acknowledge that she's terrible. And so there you go. Bye, Rhonda McDaniel. So now let's get into the big story, though. And related to that. Oh, wait, what do I have here next? The big story out of South Carolina, and South Carolina is trending, and so is Nikki Haley, and so is other things related to South Carolina, because South Carolina had their presidential primary. Apparently, was it Friday? I don't know what day this was, but here we go. Here's get the results of the South Carolina primary, and Nikki Haley loses her home state to Donald Trump by double digits. Now, to no one's surprise, obviously, despite 0% of the vote being tallied, and within minutes of the polls closing, most of the major networks projected GOP presidential primary in South Carolina a huge win for Donald Trump. South Carolina, of course, is the former governor and former UN ambassador Nikki Haley's home state. So it's a crushing blow to her campaign. Wait, did it happen again? No, what's going on? Is it working again? What I see is still working. Wait a minute. Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Are we good? Are we good? Type in the chat on YouTube if we're good. Okay, I'm back. We see 8-bit P-Dog. Yeah, it says it got better. Okay. All right. Hopefully this will start working again. Oh, there we go. You might have to change your setting on the screen. Okay. All right, we're back. Okay, let's get back to Nikki Haley here. Sorry about that, folks. Wait, what? Did it just give me another warning? What the fuck? Okay, it's still working. So you change your video setting. If you go on the screen, there's little, settings symbol. You click that and change the settings to quality. It should be okay. I'll have to figure this out. Streamlabs is really screwing up. So anyway, back to the story here. South Carolina is, of course, Nikki Haley's home state. She was the governor there, and so there's a lot of, they just have a lot of tweets about it. This is from Saturday. Apparently the primary was Saturday. So apparently, though, the Washington Post, but here's the thing. Trump spent about $1.3 million in South Carolina, and Nikki Haley spent $16.5 million. Now, the Washington Post says it's slightly different, but the fact that Haley outspent Trump probably 15-1 and still lost by double digits has to have Haley and Biden donors worried. So that's how it was reported. There's several tweets in that article. We'll move on though, because I'm just going to go down the line here. Now this is, and now what's interesting though about this is a lot of the media's reaction, because the media was either apoplectic or they were just in mourning during this whole thing. So, for example, in Zero Hedge here, MSNBC claims Trump's numbers in South Carolina are disastrous despite defeating Nikki Haley. And they're going to say because, Joe Biden got 99% of the Democrat primary, and Donald Trump only got 60% of the Republicans, and 40% didn't vote for Nikki Haley. We'll get to why that might be in a little bit. But here it is. Is it better to say nothing and simply let the corporate media buy into their own propaganda? This is the kind of rhetoric and spin that got them into trouble during the 2016 election, after all. Lawrence O'Donnell and other pundits chimed in during MSNBC's coverage of the South Carolina primary to make the argument that Donald Trump's crushing 20-point lead over establishment favorite Nikki Haley in her home state is actually a disastrous result that will lead to his defeat in November's presidential election. So let's just watch this, because let's see, I think I got it open somewhere else too. Let's see, where is Lawrence O'Donnell? Is this the one? Let's see if this is the right one. No, that's Dan Rather. That's even better. He's very upset too. Oh no, Joy Reid. Let's try this one. I want the Lawrence O'Donnell clip. Where is it? Okay, well, we'll just go back to this in Zero Hedge. Let's see what we'll play.
37% who voted for Haley. Who would they vote for in a general election? Lawrence needs to wait. I mean, this is like your sweet spot. How is Joe Biden looking at this?
Now listen to this, because this is going to be their logic.
37%.
These numbers are disastrous for Donald Trump.
Disastrous.
Okay, that's
disastrous for Donald Trump. Now remember, Nikki Haley, home state. She was a popular governor in South Carolina. Disastrous, because Donald Trump only beat her by 20 points.
The reason I mentioned that the big forgotten number of South Carolina, which is Joe Biden getting 96%. Okay.
90%, 6% of the Democrats who voted in a primary that didn't mean anything. Right? So there's Joe Biden's the incumbent. How many Democrats actually came out to vote for Joe Biden? And if they came out to vote, they came out to vote for Joe Biden, because that's the only candidate basically in the Democratic Party. Oh, sure. I think maybe Robert Kennedy was on there and blah, 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 blah. But he's not getting any traction. And so this is logic.
Okay, that's what you're supposed to get. All right. And Donald Trump's not going to come close to that.
What do you mean that's what you're supposed to get? You're supposed to get that in a contested election. You're supposed to get 90. Is this Russia, where Vladimir Putin would get 99% of the vote? Or is this North Korea? Is that what you're saying there, O'Donnell? What are you talking
Donald
about?
Trump's going to leave 30%, I don't know, 25%, whatever it is. Of
37%.
Not yet. We don't know. We don't know what the result of this election is tonight. But it's going to be a very substantial number. Could be a third of the vote. He's going to leave that on the table, belonging to another candidate.
Why would that be?
All you need is
to win. All you need is to win the nomination first, because he's not going against Nikki Haley when it comes to the general election. And Nikki Haley would not be going against Donald Trump if it were the general election. It doesn't matter what the incumbent president gets in their primary, because it's almost irrelevant. But this is Lawrence O'Donnell's logic.
5% of the 30%. Yeah. We're talking about a sliver. Yeah. That's all you need to not vote for Donald Trump. Of this representative kind of voter.
Now wait, he's gonna tell you, because there's a number. They take a poll of Nikki Haley voters and ask them if they would vote for Donald Trump in the general election, which a lot of them say no. But we'll get to that.
In Michigan, in Pennsylvania, in Arizona, in Georgia, and so these are disastrous.
Now remember also, and look, I'm not cheerleading for Donald Trump here. I'm just stating the facts. In 6 of those 7 swing states that were problematic for Trump in 2020, he's leading Joe Biden in the polls in those states. But they don't want to acknowledge that. They're saying, oh, because some of Nikki Haley's voters won't vote for Donald Trump, that there's no way. That's disastrous for him, right?
Voting results for Donald Trump in the general election. Well, not South Carolina. He's going to win South Carolina. But that voter in the Haley vote package is represented in New Hampshire, is represented in these other states, and is represented in all the other swing states. Wisconsin, you need a tiny slice of them, and 10,000 of them.
Okay, so now we're going to go down the line here. We'll get to that in a minute. Why that's doesn't necessarily make sense. The other great headline from Zero Hedge, though, is after this South Carolina blowout, we got the headline of the day from Zero Hedge, and it's in my thumbnail. But Koch brothers pull out of Haley after South Carolina's skewering. Oh my God. That is a headline I did not want to see this morning. Okay, now, less than a day after she was smashed. Oh my God, you know he wrote this on purpose. Here, let's just read it the way it should be read. Koch brothers pull out of Haley after South Carolina's skewering. Less than a day after she was smashed by Donald Trump in her own state. And 4 weeks after billionaire Democrat Reid Hoffman said, no more. The Koch brothers' pet advocacy group, Americans for Prosperity, have pulled the plug on Nikki Haley. Now, wait a minute. Pulled the plug on or from? No. Ew. Anyway, in an email to staff obtained by Politico, AFP, which is the, again, American for Prosperity, CEO Emily Seidel announced on Sunday that the group's political arm, AFP Action, had to take stock of its spending priorities in light of Haley's South Carolina defeat. The group, which is funded by the Kochs, will now pivot to competitive Senate and House races. She has made it clear that she will continue to fight, and we wholeheartedly support her effort in this. But given the challenges in the primary states ahead, we do not believe that any outside group can make a material difference to widen her path to victory. Okay, stop it. That's enough. Okay. Anyway, there's more in the article there. So anyway, a lot of the donors that were basically propping Nikki Haley up will no longer be propping her up, but she is going to forge ahead. I almost said forge ahead. Oh my God. I can't stop it. Okay. Anyway, so they've stopped funding her. But and also here's the other part. There's the other part of this. So Lawrence O'Donnell making all that noise about, well, oh my God, some of these Nikki Haley voters, you only need about 10,000 of them to vote for Biden to do this, da. Well, Biden's approval rating is getting close to an all-time low at 38%. Joe Biden's approval rating fell to 38% in February, hovering 1 percentage point away from his all-time low. A Gallup poll released Friday reveals the figure is well below the 50% threshold typically needed for incumbents to achieve re-election. So that you have that part. Also, and now also it's funny, it's interesting because Lawrence Jones did a focus group on what did I do there? Did a focus group on Fox News, and apparently black voters are telling Lawrence Jones why they're picking Trump. And I haven't seen this clip, and it's probably too long to play on here, but it is in the article.
I had the opportunity to talk with some black Republicans.
Okay. Black voters told Fox News host Lawrence Jones why they're voting for the former President Donald Trump in a Saturday Fox and Friends weekend segment. Now, look, I don't necessarily take a lot of stock in this because it could be he didn't pick, I don't know if he picked random black voters or black voters who are already supporting Trump. But let's watch part of this clip because it is interesting to hear, and you're seeing it. You're seeing this in places like South Bronx and Chicago that are like, yeah, we're done with Joe Biden. So here we go. Let's full screen that there. There we go. So let's see this report with Lawrence Jones.
I had the opportunity to talk with some black Republicans yesterday. They're going to vote for Donald Trump. This is what they have to say.
Wait a minute. Hold up. See now there, right there. What did he just say? He is talking to black Republicans. Hello, Rick Ashbringer. What's up? He's talking to black Republicans. So yeah, black Republicans are going to vote for a Republican for president. Shocker. It's a shocker, but anyway, let's see what he says.
Biggest event of the year. Looks like there's a massive support around black voters going to Donald Trump. Why is that?
The black community wants a leader who has the energy to actually go to bat for the issues that they want to fight for. And we see that in Donald Trump. We don't necessarily see that from Joe Biden. President Donald Trump is visible. He's taking challenging questions, and the people feel like if he's reelected, that he'll have the energy, he'll have the charisma to get up and go and fight for the issues.
What do you think is going to be the number one issue that drives black folks to the polls?
Well, it has to be the economy. I think everyone is suffering right now.
Economy. You can't fool
it's
what
the
happened
economy,
to the
stupid.
store.
We have a lot of people in the room today from Chicago. We have people from New York, and we also have people that are in Texas, from where you're from, that are tired of what we're seeing with the migrant issue.
Joe Biden's policy.
Look, I think the migrant issue and the fact that they've been giving, they're just basically handing money to these people who are coming over here illegally, is pissing a lot of black people off in some of the places where, and again, it's not like, look, let's be real. It's not like the money was going to go to them, but the fact that they're just handing it out to these people, it's like, well, now you go, well, why can't they hand it out to us? Not us, like me, because I don't need it. But you know what I mean? So anyway, moving on. Now, here's the article that got people when you're talking about Lawrence O'Donnell's thing about, all these Nikki Haley voters, you only need some of them to vote for Joe Biden, right? Well, here's an interesting article in the National Pulse. Apparently, 40% of Republicans didn't vote against Trump in South Carolina. Obama operatives used Democratic voters to boost Nikki Haley. President Trump resignedly defeated Nikki Haley in South Carolina primary on Saturday. It looked like clockwork. Haley, alongside the nation's left-leaning media, began to crow that 40% of Republicans didn't pick Donald Trump. However, the claim is based on Haley's vote of 39.5% in South Carolina. But look under the hood of the claim. A look under the hood of the claim reveals it to be an outright farce. So here it is. Adam Kinzinger, the former congressman from Ukraine, said last night 40% of Republicans voted against Trump. Well, not so fast. South Carolina has an open primary, and for the past several months, Haley's and her supporters on the political left have openly targeted Democrats and other non-Republicans to vote for her in the South Carolina primary. There's vast evidence of this, not least the Associated Press VoteCast data from Saturday night. Quote, Haley dominated among South Carolina voters who said that Democrat Joe Biden won the 2020 presidential election. Roughly 3/4 of her supporters say Biden was legitimately elected president in 2020, and about 4 in 10 voted for Biden in that election. 4 of 10 of the people who voted for Nikki Haley voted for Biden in 2020. Now, Politico also admits, quote, a majority of every age demographic picked Trump over Haley. Men and women both backed Trump. Voters across all income ranges backed him, and he only narrowly lost college graduates while dominating among those without college degree. So already, it's clear that much of Haley's 39.5% did not solely come from Republicans disaffected by Trump. Some folks have already done the fast math. Institutionally, Haley's overt efforts in turning out Democrats to damage Trump were aided by groups like Primary Pivot, an organization staffed by Never Trump Inc. operatives from groups like the Lincoln Project, and conceived by an Obama-era USAID operative, Kenneth Scheffler. Here it is. Primary Pivot sent 200,000 plus texts to South Carolinians who voted in the 2020 Dem primary today, urging recipients to sit out the Democratic primary tomorrow and vote for Nikki Haley in the GOP primary instead. Here's 2 different messages that they sent out. We'll pull this tweet up here. Right here. Quote, here it is. This is a tweet they sent out. You're eligible to vote in either party's primary, but you can only vote in one. In the Democratic primary tomorrow, President Biden will win a strong victory for his pro-democracy agenda. Oh my gosh, Joe Biden's in favor of democracy? Well, that's a shocker. I might think about voting for him now. Oh, wait. Does he know that he is? Anyway, in the Republican primary on February 24th, democracy itself is on the ballot. Former governor and UN ambassador Nikki Haley is running against Trump, a proud election denier. Make your vote count by protecting our democracy. So they're sending this out to Democrats to vote for Nikki Haley in the Republican primary. And here's another one. You're eligible to vote in either party primary, but you can only vote one. In the Democratic primary, he's blah, blah, blah. Biden is winning by more than 50 points. In the Republican primary, former governor and UN ambassador Nikki Haley is running against Trump. She is catching up in our polls. Please make your vote count. There you go. So they were trying to turn out Democrats to vote in the Republican primary. And I'm going to guess that a large number of those people were. So anyway, on the run-up to the primary, the entity was described by the anti-Trump Dispatch website as targeting Democratic voters who did not vote in their primary their party's presidential primary, urging them to vote for Haley. The group has purchased ad time on radio stations in Charleston, Columbia, Greenville markets geared toward black audiences. These efforts were even hyped by ABC News, Fox, The Hill, Slate, and Politico. Quote, Robert Schwartz, the co-founder of Primary Pivot, told the Dispatch that the super PAC, together with its nonprofit arm, Primary Power, raised about $700,000 before the New Hampshire primary and expects to have an additional $300,000 to $400,000 to spend on the efforts in South Carolina, Michigan, multiple Super Tuesday states, Georgia. The group has not disclosed its donors. Well, they don't disclose their donors either. So anyway, and then let's see, quote, we only care about damaging Donald Trump, Schwartz went on to tell Politico. For better or worse, the only thing you can do if you really want to stop Trump is to vote for Haley. So they'll put the Politico article up without going through it. And so once again, we see the nefarious influence of Obama-era operatives in the 2024 political environment. Not content with having already effectively served 3 terms, the Obama ilk artificially propped up Haley's vote with Democrat votes. Without them, it is unlikely Haley would have broken 25% in her home state. A stunning humiliation. All right, let's move over here to Byron Donald. Apparently... Byron Donalds defends Trump's over comment about black people, rejects racial politics. I don't know what this is about, so let's just watch it. Oh, he was on Meet the Depressed.
And on Friday, you introduced Donald Trump at a group of black conservatives. He made a number of headline-making comments, including this one.
Oh, yes, let's play this up and see what Byron Donald says about it.
Take a look.
I got indicted a second time and a third time and a fourth time. And a lot of people said that that's why the black people like me, because they have been hurt so badly and discriminated against.
Okay, wait a minute. She's saying this is a bad thing. But if you talk to just rank and file black people, who some believe that they are being targeted, seeing Trump being targeted in a similar way, not all black people, you know what I'm saying? But why is this controversial for him to say, except for the people who hate Trump who want to make it controversial?
And they actually viewed me as I'm being discriminated against.
Congressman, it sounds like Donald Trump was implying that he can win black voters because they get indicted all the time, too. Is that what he was?
Wow. Now, that's an interesting way to interpret that, isn't it? Let's see how Byron Donald answered this, because Byron Donald is very good at handling these kind of stupid questions.
Saying?
Well, I think it's in part of that. It's part of it, Kristen. Look, it was a great night Friday night in Columbia, South Carolina. The president was really just enjoying himself. It was a great celebration for black conservatives across our country. But let's be very clear. Our economy is a mess. Our border is completely unsecured. These things are causes of major concerns for black voters, like it is for every voter in our country. But then when you layer on the fact that, yes, this is political persecution from the Department of Justice and from radical DAs throughout our country, this is something similar that black people had to deal with the justice system themselves. And so their look of it is real simple. Well, dang, if the government's going after him with foolishness, he can't be that bad, especially considering the fact that Joe Biden is terrible at his job.
Well, Congressman, let's just be clear. All 4 indictments against former President Trump were brought by grand juries. There is no evidence that the indictment...
Oh, my God. Oh, they were brought by grand juries. There's no way that this is legitimate because it's a grand jury. As if a grand jury wouldn't indict a ham sandwich, the famous quote.
Are political in nature, but let me...
They're absolutely political in nature. And the indictments came in very specific districts. It's hilarious that she's, oh no, because it's a grand jury, there's no way this is political. Bitch, please.
Let me stick to the question here. Let me get you to respond to Biden campaign co-chair and former Congressman Cedric Richmond.
Why? Why do we need to respond to a Biden campaign co-chair? Oh, that's right, because you're on NBC and you have to have the talking points come out.
Who said this about his comments? Donald Trump claiming that black Americans will support him because of his criminal charges is insulting.
Oh, and now what? Is that what he said, or he said he could relate to people who have been who perceived injustices?
It's moronic, and it's just plain racist. How do you respond to that charge that it's just plain racist?
What I would say is that Cedric is trying to play politics and use racial politics even now as we get into the general election. That's one. Number two, like I said at the top, the number one reason why minority voters in our country want to support Donald Trump is because he did the job of president. He did a great job as president. Our country was secure. The economy was great. These are all things that Donald Trump talked about Friday night. He also did talk about the indictments. What Americans don't want to see, especially black Americans and anybody else, they don't want to see a politicized Justice Department. They don't want to see a two-tier system of justice. They want justice to be followed. They want Lady Justice to be blind. That's what the American people want. That's what black voters want. That's what everybody wants.
Okay, so again, why I like Byron Donalds, because he can answer a question and not allow the leading part of it affect him at all. He's very good at that. So, moving on. Apparently, the second-ranking GOP senator now has endorsed Trump. John Thune, is he from North Dakota? South Dakota, excuse me. Second-ranking Senate Republican endorsed former President Donald Trump on Sunday as Trump's delegate lead over GOP rival Nikki Haley continues to grow, paving the way towards a 2020 rematch against President Joe Biden. Now, I wonder if John Thune's up for re-election, because he's not what I would call a Trump Republican by any stretch of the imagination, but he is the minority whip, and he shared his decision with Fox News after Trump emerged victorious in the GOP primary. You're going to see more senators, at least, I don't know if they'll jump on board, but they'll tepidly give their support towards Donald Trump, because, otherwise you're going to see. I'm curious if any GOP senator actually comes out and endorses Joe Biden. I'm not betting on it. And plus, look, this year, of all the Senate seats, I think 10 Democrat Senate seats are up for election this year, and there's at least 4 of them that are probably going to flip to Republican. West Virginia probably, Montana, he's in trouble. Kerry Lake's leading in Arizona by a pretty good margin, and that's because there's a third party. Well, because Kristen Sinema is now a third-party candidate, and so now the Democrat and her are, if you put them together, they're beating Kerry Lake, but Kerry Lake has almost 50% in Arizona against those two. So it's a pretty uphill battle for Democrats. You're probably going to see a Senate flip for sure. But you could also see a House flip. You never know. We'll see what happens. Moving on, let's see what else here. Oh, Greg, now we got some video of just different people talking about South Carolina, so we'll go through some of those. Here's Greg Abbott and oh, by the way, I want you, as you watch these next video clips, I have several video clips. As you watch these clips, I want you to watch the expressions of the pundits from whichever network we're talking about. So, for example, this is CNN, and watch how Dana Bash's expressions are during this. These people look like they're in mourning. Now, this one has a very fuzzy picture. Just it's not your screen.
In politics, a 20-point victory is huge.
Look at her face.
And it's the type of victory that President Trump has been achieving across the country. But last night was even more meaningful because it was a victory by 20 percentage points in a state where Nikki Haley was the governor. So she is beloved more in South Carolina than perhaps any other state in America. And you can see the trajectory that President Trump is on. And,
look at her face.
Defeating Nikki Haley so badly in South Carolina, he's on a pathway to win these other states, win Super Tuesday, and be able to have the nomination clinched by the middle part of March. And so I would say the win is strongly at the back of President Trump.
And Joe Biden's
as he pointed out
in
his remarks last night, not even making reference to Nikki Haley, he said that the party truly is unifying. And you can see it in comparison to, say, his past primaries. And listen, the party is far more unified behind President Trump at this particular time than it has been in any other race that he's had. In politics,
so a lot of people are
going to 20-point victory.
Sorry about that. A lot of people dispute that, but we're going to continue here because Now, here's Anderson Cooper and CNN commenters, and they don't know what to do. They are very upset, and look at their faces. They are in mourning when you watch this report. Here we go.
Victory speech, overwhelming results in South Carolina. We called it right at the top of the hour as soon as the polls closed. Back here in New York. Listen,
look at them.
Look
at all of them. All of them are just like, oh, God, we got to deal with this guy. It's terrible. It's awful.
Yeah, I mean, R.I.P. the Reagan GOP. There's something so jarring about watching Lindsey Graham and Tim Scott, all of who condemned him after January 6th, lining up to do their best campaign rally impersonation and saying this is the most qualified man to be president.
Alyssa from The View, Alyssa Farrah Griffin from The View, all the anti-Trump View. Everyone on this panel is anti-Trump, by the way. They don't have a single person that's even neutral on Trump. They're all anti-Trump.
The night of January 6th, Lindsey Graham was saying he was,
I'm done.
Yeah, the night of January 6th, the entire news media said that Donald Trump sent people there to attack the Capitol. But as the truth came out about January 6th, that, you mean there was something, it may have been a little bit different story. 3 years later, as they're getting the facts that they might not have the same view as they did the night of January 6th, duh. See, you guys are stuck on January 6th. That's the problem.
Enough. I mean, listen, it is the greatest political comeback in history. Just 3 years ago, he was done in the party, and it only took a matter of months before he came back and handily won.
Look at these two faces. They're like, I can't believe we're going through this again.
In Nikki Haley's home state.
And Van Jones. Okay, we'll get to Van Jones, too. I think Van Jones is the next clip here. Oh, no, this is Lawrence O'Donnell. I think we already saw this one. We saw the Lawrence O'Donnell clip. We'll skip Lawrence O'Donnell. Let's go to, and this guy, I don't even know who this butthole is. Wait a minute, is this, don't tell, this isn't, no, it's not who I thought it was. I thought it was the guy who got, I thought this was the guy who got busted jerking off on a Zoom call, but this is not him.
Do you think Biden legitimately won the 2020?
They're very bad because a lot of the South Carolinians don't think Biden legitimately won the 2020 election, which, look, the vote counts in all those states. Sure, they were what they were. Do you think that it was a fair election? Do you think it was a fair, unbiased, process? Do you think that the fact that some states violated their own constitution to change the rules? Do you think that the entire media, decided to put their thumb on the scales and only report good things for Joseph Biden and only bad things for Donald Trump? Do you think that affected the election? And it's going to be, I tell you what, it's going to be the same thing on steroids this time, but are the Trump people going to be able to overcome the 100% media cheerleading for the other guy? We'll see. I don't know. I don't know if Trump can overcome that. I personally hope he can. But let's listen to this asshole.
Election. Here in South Carolina, in this primary today, only a third, 32%, say that he did legitimately win. Only a third give the correct answer to this question. Two-thirds, 65%.
A third gave the correct answer. Well, when you say legitimately won, what is a lot of people have a different definition of what legitimately is. You don't think that, oh my God, that you made it so everyone could just mail in ballots for wherever? You don't think that affects the election? That Democrats embraced that and Republicans rejected it? To their own demise, Republicans.
Wrongly say that Joe Biden did not legitimately win the 2020 election.
Again, I don't think it was legitimate. It's how the media did not call it down the middle. That's what I think.
That is what they believe.
He's just apple plum. I'm so upset that they don't believe what I tell them to believe.
Do you think?
All right. So then we'll move on. Which was this? Oh, Joy Reid. Joy Reid. It's about white Christians. White Christians. It's white Christians' fault. And only white Christians in South Carolina voted for Donald Trump.
About the makeup of this electorate. I mean, this is a, 92% white, overwhelmingly evangelical Christian primary electorate in South Carolina.
In South Carolina? You mean the same white people who vote for Tim Scott for senator? Statewide election? The same people that vote for Tim Scott as their senator?
And I think writ large around the country, that is the way they think. I mean, even among the independent.
That is the way they think. What do you mean by they, Joy? What you mean by they, Joy?
Independent voters who are about, 21% of this electorate. It's like almost a 50-50 question as to whether President Biden is the legitimate president of the United States. That is what the Republican Party is now.
That's fascinating, isn't it? The Christian, what did she say? She thought 90% white Republican base. That Christian 90% Republican base that reelected Senator Tim Scott. They are, whoever wrote Cope and Seethe, that's where they're at right now. And oh man, I can't wait till Super Tuesday. It's going to be like morning in America. And I don't mean like 8 a.m. I mean like it's going to be a funeral to these motherfuckers. Okay, and then there's Dan Rather. You know Dan Rather. Oh my God. The fake document, Dan Rather got fired for forging documents on a case against George W. Bush. Dan Rather says the media's claim that Trump's South Carolina win is crushing misses a key point. Trump is crushing his chances to win in November. Oh, Dan, tell us how. Everything he's doing to fire up MAGA voters makes him less palatable to the independents he needs to win the general. Really? Because right now, his polling's pretty damn good and gets better every day. Bad news for his MAGA base, largely white.
You're fucking white.
Very conservative, older, male, evangelical election deniers, which pollsters say is about 33% of the electorate, and that in November they cannot bring him over the line alone. Ironically, Trump is crushing them as he crushes himself. Oh, Dan, you are a very astute pundit. Want to see my new list of everything Trump is doing to crush it for MAGA and therefore crush his election chances? You can find it by subscribing to my newsletter now. Oh, Dan, if there's anything, look, if you want to stick a, what do you call it? Those kind of adjustable, a crusher wrench. If you want to crush the non-business end of a crescent wrench up my dick, yeah, that's about how much I want to be on your newsletter. Sorry for the description there, but I had to think of something really awful. Oh, wait. Look at there. Tyre Alexander, what is happening? What is happening here? Why isn't this showing up on my screen? My Streamlabs isn't working. That's what the hell. Oh, there it is. Thank you, Tyre Alexander. You are the superstar.
You are the new
Streamlabs superstar sponsor of the day. You're the only sponsor. You are the man. Thank you. I appreciate that 223. You don't know how much I appreciate it. Tyre Alexander says, with it dropping a big or small bullet in the tip jar at 223. Yo, P, this is a friend of mine's channel, Keeverdam. She sung this on my show last Saturday, and I want to promote her work. I know Keeverdam. She's my friend too. I'll put the link out here for Keeverdam, and I want y'all to check this out. So when we get to that, it'll be in the links. Thank you very much, Tyre Alexander. I appreciate it. Everyone check that out today. Also, I have a link of the latest video I put up that has been getting a lot of attention. It has about 7,500 views and lots of comments that I got to get back to. All right, where are we at here? Dan Rather. Here's the last one. Rich Barris. Now here's some polling data. Rich Barris is the People's Pundit, and he's a professional pollster. There were 2 records last night. Donald Trump set the record for the most votes received in the South Carolina presidential primary, more than doubling the previous. And Nikki Haley holds the record for the largest margin loss in a home state for an unsuspended candidate. So, yeah, I mean, it's her home state. So that's an interesting fact. All right. Do I have more? I think I'm done with this topic. Oh, no. Oh, just the Haley trending topic. Nikki Haley and Haley are trending, so I have those on links too. And then finally, the Zero Hedge. Where is it? Zero Hedge. Oh, I showed you links to that. I just had the tweets up. Don't need that. Let's see. Where are we at? I'm going to protect myself here a little bit. Oh! By the way, Nikki Haley is going to remain in the presidential race now. Here's Nikki Haley speaking at South Carolina.
There are huge numbers of voters in our Republican primaries who are saying they want an alternative.
Yeah, and a lot of them were Democrats. And this is your home state, Nikki. It's your home state. You lost by 20 in your home state where you were a popular governor. And getting Democrats to supplement the vote.
Earlier this week that no matter what happens in South Carolina, I would continue to run for president.
Okay. And you'll continue to embarrass yourself.
I'm a woman of my word.
Okay, Hillary. Okay, so she's going to trudge on. And, that's fine. I don't care. Let's see. What was this one? I'm trying to keep using track. Oh, and then I think this is the same thing. Nikki Haley appears to be still be in denial after getting demolished by Trump in her home state of South Carolina. This is some next level delusion. In what should have been her dropout speech, Haley said she wasn't backing down. I said earlier this week, no matter what happens in South Carolina, I would continue to run for president. I'm a woman of my words. Yeah, very good for you. And finally, the last little thing here is, and of course, now this is very important. This one's very important, because there is another reason. There is another reason that Donald Trump is being successful. Boy, look at these. These guys look so happy. These guys look ecstatic. These are the CNN crowd. But there's another reason Van Jones brings up as to why Donald Trump is having so much success. And I want you, before I even play this, before I play it, I need you to type into the chat what you think that reason might be. So I'm going to give you a little Jeopardy theme song, courtesy of my lovely voice. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Dum da dum 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 boom boom. Okay. I'm gonna see what I got. Some answers are popping up. Renee Mayette starts with racism. Okay, that's a good guess. I'm not so sure if that's the answer, but we're gonna just let it ride. Renee Mayette, Christians, maybe, sort of. No, I don't know. The question again. The reason Van Jones is going to give us a reason that Donald Trump is being successful, getting his message across, getting some traction, whatever. The reason Donald Trump is having success, remember, we're talking about Donald Trump, and we're going to get an answer of what Van Jones thinks one of the reasons that Donald Trump is getting a boost from certain something. It's a certain something. Aliens, maybe. Russians, Rick Ashbringer. I think you might be onto something. Avocado Diablo, Russia. Putin. Here we go. Listen, here it is.
What's actually happening, though, is that there is an online influence campaign.
Wait for it.
Some of it, I think, is coming from Russia, China,
yes!
and Iran.
Russia!
That is whipping up that
Russia!
Unnaturally. So
look at these guys. Wait. Wait. I want to start this over, though. Again. If they were talking about Joe Biden, like in another year, they would all be smiling, laughing. Oh, yeah, Joe Biden. Yeah. Look at I'm going to start this over. Look at these people's faces as they pan the group. Like, look at their faces. They are just they are all dead inside. Look at them.
What's actually happening, though,
look at him.
Is that there is an online influence campaign.
Okay, there's man. Now watch when he pans.
Russia, China, and
watch,
Iran,
look at some of these other faces.
Is whipping up that conversation way in.
Come on, show it. Look at her. She's like, oh. Look at the guys next to him. They're all dying. They're all dead inside. It's amazing.
Also, and we have to talk about it more, an online influence campaign designed to depress and distress black voters and to split.
And a Russian campaign designed to depress and distress black voters. Oh my God. This is, you cannot write it. You cannot write this story because it's insane. Again, I'm telling them, they need to go get Hillary Clinton, okay? They need to go get Hillary Clinton and some other DNC operatives. Maybe Obama's guys can get together and they can go find them a new foreign spy, okay? They can go get them a new foreign spy and have that foreign spy go over and pay some Russians to make up some more shit about Donald Trump and bring it back and call it the next dossier. I don't care what your name, whose name's on it, the next dossier. Because that's all they can talk about is Russia. You freaking morons. It's amazing. Let's see, somebody here says misinformation is now used almost entirely by the ruling class in media and government to rationalize why Americans who they've lied to and failed to represent for decades no longer support and trust them. It's far easier to it's far easier to sleep with yourself believing that than the truth, which even a moment of self-reflection would reveal. So that's a very good point by the follow-up post on this. Van Jones blames Russia, China, and Iran working online to influence black men to vote against Joe Biden and for Donald Trump. That's what they're trying to say here. The word is well, okay. I'm gonna quote somebody here, and I'm going to quote the great president, turn of the century, Theodore Roosevelt, who said, "It's fucking insane that they're still doing this shit. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing." All right, let's finish out with a few articles. Oh, by the way, here's a good article. Democrats are already signaling that if Donald Trump wins the presidency, well, they may not certify the election results. Yes, they are planning their own insurrection. Democrats signaled they might not certify a Trump win in 2024. Numerous House Democrats have signaled that they would not certify a 2024 presidential election win from Donald Trump, relying on the 14th Amendment to claim that Trump is an insurrectionist and thus ineligible from holding office. They might want to figure out how to do that. Democrats, including Representative James Clyburn, Jamie the discolored Q-tip Raskin, Adam Pencil Neck Geek Shift, Eric Fang Fang Bang Bang Swalwell, and even House Minority Leader Hakeem the Dream Jeffries refused to say that they would confirm Trump into office if he won in the 2024 election. As Dan McLaughlin explained at National Review, Democrats could have the votes to sustain an objection to a Trump win if they take control of the House. Only a simple majority is required, and unlike when the House chooses a president under the 12th Amendment, they don't vote by states, he wrote. Unlike in 2016 and 2004, when they were in the minority, House Democrats could be playing with live ammunition. Still, a majority of senators would have to object to a Trump win, too. This would likely take 51 senators, and as McLaughlin pointed out, this would be a tough task for Democrats. They either have to hold every seat they currently occupy, good luck, West Virginia, or take a Republican-held seat, the bluest of which is either Ted Cruz's Texas or Rick Scott's Florida, he said. A potential way around some of this chaos rests at the Supreme Court, which heard the oral arguments earlier this month in Trump versus Anderson, a case about whether or not a state, in this case Colorado, can keep Trump off the ballot based on the 14th Amendment. If the high court gives clarity on the issue of Trump eligibility, specifically that he is eligible, then Democrats would not have room to object on that basis. So anyway, they are already, though, planning to do another 2016 and object to the Trump delegates. All right. In other news, we'll get this quickly. Apparently, the saga of Nathan Wade and Fani Willis. Well, they've been claiming that they really haven't had any kind of relationship beforehand. Well, now there's some phone cell data on Mr. Nathan Wade that showed that he went to Fani Willis's abode, which is not anywhere near his own abode, at least 30 times prior to when they say in the depositions that they were dating. And a couple of those times were in what they call BCT, known as booty call time, like showed up at 11 a.m. and his phone didn't leave the area till about 4:30 in the morning, 5 in the morning, which means, there might have been a different kind of relationship after all. But also, now we're finding out that Nathan Wade led Fani Willis's 2020 transition into office. Now that's weird because they didn't have any kind of connections supposedly before 2022. Nathan Wade made the decision to hire or fire employees in the Fulton County District Attorney's Office following Fulton County Prosecutor Fani Willis's election victory in November 2020. Multiple sources familiar with the Wade and Willis relationship exclusively told Fox or Breitbart News. The revelation of Wade's previously unreported position sorry. As the former personnel decision maker for the district attorney's office raises ethical and conflict of interest concerns. It also raises a question about whether Wade and Willis have been forthright in their timeline of their affair. Well, and also the phone call data that they found also makes it concerning. Anyway, so yeah, there's another article on their problems. In the Daily Caller, reporter roasted for claiming only extremist Christian nationalists think rights come from God. So listen to this. I don't think I played this last week, but this is a fascinating take that this woman has. Listen to this real quick. Here's what she said.
I've talked with a lot of experts on this, and I've seen it myself with my reporting.
Oh, by the way, listen carefully, because she's talking with Michael Steele and this other dude about Christian nationalists. Okay, because that's the boogeyman word right now.
Which is that the base of the Republican Party has shifted, right? Remember when Trump ran in 2016, a lot of the mainline evangelicals wanted nothing to do with the divorced, real estate mogul who had cheated on his wife and with a porn star and all of that, right? So what happened was he was surrounded by this more extremist element. You're going to hear words like Christian nationalism, like the new apostolic Reformation. These are groups that you should get very schooled on because they have a lot of power in Trump's circle. And the one thing that unites all of them, because there's many different groups orbiting Trump, but the thing that unites them as Christian nationalists, not Christians, by the way, because Christian nationalists is very different, is that they believe that our rights as Americans, as all human beings, don't come from any earthly authority. They don't come from Congress. They don't come from the Supreme Court. They come from God. The problem with that is that they are determining men are determining what God is telling them. And in the past, that so-called natural law is, it's a pillar of Catholicism. Catholicism, for instance, it's been used for good in social justice campaigns. Right. Martin Luther King evoked it in talking.
Excuse me? Excuse me? Is she saying that the founders didn't think that the rights came from a higher power? Is that what she's saying? Certain unalienable rights endowed by their creator. I know those words are in the. I know those words are in the in the Declaration of Independence, but wait a minute. So anyway, some of the reactions to that. Here, MSNBC helpfully makes it clear their disdain for Christians in America. She says that if you believe that your rights come from God, you aren't a Christian. You're a Christian nationalist. Really? That's interesting. Is this the Babel fish? Yeah. Even if you just say it comes that these are your natural rights, it's coming from something other than man, right? These are your natural rights that you can't. There's certain inalienable rights that you should have just for existing, whether they come from God or the, Buddha or whatever. That's what the country was founded on. So, MSNBC says that if you believe your rights come from God and not Congress, you are a Christian nationalist. I guess I'm a Christian nationalist now. I never thought of myself as a Christian nationalist, but my God, or something like that. Here, MSNBC is saying anyone who believes that rights come from God, not the government, is automatically a Christian nationalist. And the belief is central to the founding of our country. It's in the Declaration of Independence. That's literally what they say. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. So anyway, she got roasted for that on X. And then also the AP gets roasted because they have been avoiding linking a student death to an illegal migrant. This is the story we were talking about earlier. Social media users called out the Associated Press on Sunday after the media outlet avoided stating that an illegal immigrant was charged with murdering nursing student Lakeland Riley. Illegal immigrant Jose Antonio Barro was arrested on Friday and charged by the University of Georgia authorities for the death of Lake Riley, 22, who was found Thursday afternoon. During a press conference Friday night revealing Ibarra's identity, authorities confirmed he was not a resident of the U.S. Early reports circulated that Ibarra was illegally in the U.S. with the Department of Justice officials confirming Ibarra's brother Diego was arrested over fraudulent immigration papers. But the AP, again, I show you this. Hello, M&S. I see you up there. The AP, however, posted an article on X, formerly known as Twitter, Sunday morning claiming Riley's death now highlights the fear of solo female athletes. The article notably labels Riley alleged murder as an Athens resident, giving no other background on the illegal migrant, even though university officials confirmed Friday he was not a resident of the U.S. So the IP just decided not to put that in the article. It was irrelevant that he just happened to be an illegal alien that murdered this woman. It was more important that she was the fear, the highlights the fear of solo female athletes. I think it highlights the fear of why we don't need more. Why we don't need more controls on who's coming across our border. Because, we have our own murderers here. We don't need to add any freebies from other countries. Let's kind of like, we want to, America first. Let's take care of our American murderers. And then we can start dealing with other countries' murderers in our country. How's that sound? Let's keep them out for a while. Whatever. Anyway, so they got ripped to shreds on the thing. Hello, by the way, Yafat Fuka. That is a new name over on Rumble. Nice to have you joining us. It says, what's wrong with racism? Well, it kind of sucks. Also, Godzilla 2K26. That's a new name I haven't seen, and I welcome you to the show. Hello, Gen T Maxi. And there's Cool Frog's. What up, Cool Frog? What's up, my man? Good to see you in the chat. And also, did they say those ain't real, dude? Hi, those ain't real, dude. All right, got it caught up. All right, moving on, because I only got a couple minutes here. By the way, this is a good question that PJ Media is asking. If I get this block off the screen here. What will anti-Trump hysteria look like by the time we get to Election Day? Oh my God, I am waiting. Like I said, especially these news outlets, how much are they going to put their thumb on the scales of public opinion over the next, whatever, 8 months? Is it 8 months till Election Day? Something like that. So the hysteria about Donald Trump's return to office is really something to behold for Trump critics believing, and I'm going to finish with this today, with Trump critics believing that he wants to kill them. Wait a minute. I'm going to say this is, they're going to link The View. Oh, because they're talking about Alexei Navalny. To reporters warning that Trump will send them to jail if he's reelected, the level of surreal expectation of disaster is something I've never seen or experienced in nearly 50 years of writing about politics. I don't have to tell PJ Media readers where I stand when it comes to Donald Trump, but opposition. Oh, who is this? Is this Moran? Yeah, Moran's not a Trump fan at all. He's not a Trump fan, okay, the guy writing this. But opposition from many leftists to Trump candidacy has morphed into insane, fervent, almost religious crusade because their rights are not from God. There's no reasoning with these people. There's no rational argument that can convince them that the hysteria that has gripped them and now controls them, if not in error, then certainly exaggerated as fear-mongering. Instead of trying to tamp down the madness, Joe Biden is feeding it. Speaking to reporters, Biden raised the probability that you reporters will go to jail. Oh, remember, he'll put you back in chains. Was that when they were talking about Mitt Romney? He's going to put you back in chains. Yeah. He's telling the reporters that you would go to jail. Here it is. 2 of your former colleagues, not at the same network, personally told me if he wins, they will have to leave the country because he's threatened to put them in jail. Biden told Katie Couric. He embraces political violence. Really, does he? Biden said of Trump, no president since the Civil War has done that. Embrace it, encourages it. The author of this salon piece, Brian Karem. Oh my God, Brian Karem's the worst. I'll put the link to the article. The author of this salon piece, Brian Karem, is the former senior White House correspondent for Playboy. He was put in jail for not revealing a confidential source in a criminal trial involving the death of a police officer. He wasn't jailed for what he wrote or his ideas. He was jailed for contempt of court. That has nothing to do with. In 2023, Karem wrote in an article alleging that MAGA and Christian nationalism were bigger threats to the United States than Hamas. He had his White House press pass suspended 3 times. But he was never put in jail for writing outrageous stupidities. That hasn't stopped him from sounding the Toscan about Trump. Toxin about Trump. There's some typos in here that are really bothering me. But he wrote, my experience tells me that Donald Trump means exactly what he says, and there are plenty of politicians who would do the same if they had the chance. Worse, in covering the Hamas war, a record number of reporters have been murdered in an attempt to silence those of us who risk it all to inform others. Those in power do not want us to inform everyone else about what is going on. To do so would be to risk losing control over the masses. How long shall we tolerate politicians who are so hungry for power that they will risk destroying us all to get it? That's a little hyperbolic. So why didn't Trump throw reporters in jail during his first term? Why didn't he have them killed like Vladimir Putin has killed several reporters over the last 25 years? What is it about Donald Trump that drives Karem and other reporters to such heights of delusion that they apparently fool themselves into believing they're in danger? I'd be more worried about Hillary Clinton than Donald Trump. And we know that. I'm not sad, though. It's pure, unadulterated ignorance. The press, of course, are rascals in their own right, but the difference is we cannot do anything but report vetted facts, although many times we do that poorly. Often because of government intervention, directly or indirectly, we remain trapped by the politician who owns the pulpit and can operate the levers of powers. The politicians can jail the reporter. The reporter cannot jail the politician. We also remain trapped by the public who've been manipulated by the government into thinking we're the problem. This is another quote from a reporter. So anyway, he finishes this, was blinded by an outside ego, displaying the smug superiority over the rest of us who are being, quote, manipulated, end quote, because we don't believe what he believes. Americans are in more danger from Brian Karem than any other politician. He and reporters like him have made journalism a sewer. It's a sewer. And on that note, what was this one? Oh, and this is the Brian Karem article will be in the links today. That's it right there. There's the Brian Karem article in Salon. It's here's the name of the article. Joe Biden gives the media a desperately needed lesson about Donald Trump. The president has to break the news to journalists that Trump plans to jail us. Yeah, that's what I expect. That's what I expect. He's gonna put the reporters in jail. Anyone who says anything negative about him are going to jail. All right, ladies and gentlemen. I do have a link to my latest short video in the chat, in the links today. This one answers the question, what is non-binary? If you haven't seen that already, that is not it. There we go. What is non-binary? I forgot when you scroll, you go to the next video. And then also a song by our friend Kiever Dam, who is a great friend of ours who hangs out with Scribe Light and Ranting Monkey and occasionally drops in here. So check out those videos in the links today, which I will drop in the chat on a one-tab link, a single link. You get everything we did today and more. And you only have to click once to find all these different things that we did. So, all right, I got to go. Oh, wait, I have the wrong thumbnail up there. What the hell happened? I didn't even notice that. Here, let's fix the thumbnail. I don't even know why. Well, it's too late now because it's late in the show, but I don't care. I'm still going to change it because it bugs me just having it even there now. So there. And there's the correct thumbnail, even though the replay will show the old one. So there we go. All right, guys, I got to go. Thanks for joining me. I'm here Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern, roughly. That's it for the Morning Night Live. My name is P Dog Night. And I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Links will be in the chat in a second. Bye. Hey, this is P Dog Night, and thank you for watching today on the P Dog Night channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P Dog Night, and I'm out of here.